Hello, everyone. This is Twins Week in Baseball on the TriFan 879 YouTube channel, recapping offline games from the first full week in September for games against the Kansas City Royals and Cleveland Indians. This recap will cover 2 out of 3 games for both series. And we start with the first game of the 3 games set against the Royals, game 138, which pitted Ian Kennedy against Jose Barrios. Let's just say the Twins could not keep Jarrod Dyson from running wild. We start off the game, Jarrod Dyson singles, steals second, and then Paulo Orlando singles him home, and the Royals go out to a 1-0 lead. However, the Royals pitching was just as bad. Bottom half of the first, Brian Dozier leadoff double, and then Trevor Plouffe goes deep, and that gives the Twins a 2-1 lead. They would extend that lead when Eddie Rosario, 2 batters later, hit another home run, and that would give the Twins a 3-1 lead. The Royals would cut into that lead the top half of the third when Deja vu struck again. Dyson singles, steals second, and then goes to third on a Barrios error and scores on an RBI groundout by Eric Hosmer, and that made it 3-2 Twins. The Twins would extend their lead in the bottom half of the fourth. A leadoff home run by Juan Centeno, only his second of the year. You know, things were probably going to go good for the Twins if that happened. And then 2 batters later, Brian Dozier single, goes to third on a Joe Mauer single, and then Trevor Plouffe with his 3rd RBI of the year, 54 on the year. That made it 5-2. The Royals would add a run in the top half of the 7th. Whit Merrifield with a 1-out double goes to third on an error and scores on an RBI single by Paulo Orlando, but a double play by Eric Hosmer ended the 7th. Taylor Rogers got the double play ball. He finished the 7th and 8th innings, and Brandon Kintzler finishes the 9th. And hooray, the Twins win. I believe this ended in an 11-game losing streak for them. Barrios went the 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings to get the win. Ian Kennedy went 5 1/3 as well and got the loss. And then Kintzler gets the save. All right, we go to the next game of the series. This would be Dylan G against Irvin Santana. Just the light so you're not getting so much of the glare. All right, so this would have been... So the Twins get out early in this game, too. Brian Dozier did what happened earlier this week, whenever you're watching for Major League Baseball. Leadoff home run. Bottom half of the first, Brian Dozier, his 26th of the year. Gives the Twins a 1-0 lead. Jorge Polanco follows with a walk. Joe Mauer doubles him to third, and then Max Kepler with his 36th RBI gives the Twins a 2-0 lead. However, they would give it right back in the top half of the second. More shoddy defense by the Twins. With one out, Salvador Perez was hit by a pitch. Goes to third when Eddie Rosario misplays a ball to put runners on second and third. And then Cheslor Cuthbert with a 2-run single ties the game at 2. The Royals would go ahead in the top half of the third when Paulo Orlando leads off the top half of the third with a solo home run. That put the Royals up 3-2. The Twins would claw back in the bottom half of the 5th when Brian Dozier, who finishes off a 4-for-4 day with 2 homers and a single and a double with a walk. So he reached base all 5 times that he got up. He would hit another home run, his 27th of the year and 76th RBI. That made it 3-3, and we went to the top of the ninth. Buddy Boshears pitching the top half of the ninth, and Salvador Perez goes deep, and that made it 4-3. The Twins got a base runner in the ninth. That was the Dozier walk that I talked about. Went to second on a pass ball, but could not get any further. The Royals win 4-3. Kelvin Herrera would get the win. He pitched the bottom half of the eighth, and Wade Davis would get the save, and then Boshears with the loss. All right, the final game of the series, game 140, which was, it was close, but the Royals pulled ahead in the ninth. If you want to watch that, please do. And then the next series is a 3-game series against the Indians at home. Game 141 was played on the channel. That was Danny Salazar against Tyler Duffy. And that was interesting game. We'll leave it at that. All right, so this is game 142. This is Mike Clevinger against Hector Santiago. And yay, the Twins win again. We'll go over the details here. Clevinger did not last long, but then again, he's also doing double duty pitching out of the bullpen, so it wasn't really his job to last long. Bottom half of the second, Eddie Rosario leadoff single. Kurt Suzuki singles Rosario to second after a James Beresford strikeout. Byron Buxton with the RBI double. That made it 1-0 Twins. And then Brian Dozier, who's been a hot race recently. Not a base hit, but an RBI ground out does the job. And that gives the Twins a 2-0 lead. The Indians would tie it in the top half of the fourth. Brandon Guyer with a leadoff single. Roberto Perez walks. And then Rajay Davis with an RBI single brings home Roberto Perez. And then Jason Kipnis with a sacrifice fly ties the game at 2. However, that would be it for the scoring for the Indians, and that was a good thing if you're a Twins fan. Kurt Suzuki led off the bottom of the fourth with his 11th home run of the year and 30th RBI. That made it 3-2. They would add another run in the bottom half of the fifth. Joe Mauer with a leadoff walk goes to third on a Jorge Polanco RBI single, and then Max Kepler with a fielder's choice scores Mauer, and that made it 4-0. And I'll adjust the score here later. Actually, I'll adjust it right now. I don't know how to count sometimes. All right, and then the final scoring in the bottom half of the eighth inning. This is off of Joe Colon, as the Indians let some of their younger players pitch. Leadoff home run to Miguel Sano, his 26th of the year and 76th RBI. Then followed one out later by a Kurt Suzuki walk. Byron Buxton would walk with 2 outs. And then Brian Dozier hits one into the gap into score with Suzuki. And Byron Buxton was waved around. They didn't even throw because it was at the left field. And Coco Crisp has a noodle arm. And they just said, all right, you've won anyway. So that made it 7-2. Ryan O'Rourke would get the final 3 outs to seal the win for the Twins to put them at 56-86 going into the final game of the series. Clevinger would actually no, that would be. Let's see who would be responsible for the loss. Clevinger would get the loss. He went 4 innings and he pitched 19 batters in 4 innings, so it was probably a good idea that they pulled him. Hector Santiago went 6 innings for the win, so that brings us to the final game of the series. Once again, another game I've already played when I did my Corey Kluber and Rick Porcello replay, but hey, let's play it again. Corey Kluber against Jose Barrios, and this was, I wouldn't say it was all Indians, but when Kluber can go 8 and only pitch to 32 batters. That's not bad. Okay, so the Indians get the scoring started in the top half of the second. Tyler Naquin leadoff single. Roberto Perez follows up with a double. After a pop-up by Michael Martinez, Carlos Santana with a sacrifice fly gives the Indians a 1-0 lead. However, the Twins would come right back. Kenny Vargas with a leadoff double in the bottom half of the second. He goes to third on a ground out by Kepler and scores on a James Beresford RBI single, his first RBI of the year. And that made it 1-1. The Indians would add 2 more in the top half of the fifth. Leadoff walk to Mike Napoli, moves to second on a single. And then Abraham Almonte singles home Napoli. That made it 2-1. And then Tyler Naquin. The Indians did a great job playing fundamental baseball today. Sacrifice fly. That made it 3-1. Mike Napoli would add a solo home run in the top half of the seventh. This would have been off of Pat Light. That made it 4-1. The Indians would come back with a run in the bottom half of the seventh. The Twins would come back run in the bottom half of the seventh. Get them on, get them over, and get them in. Eduardo Escobar with a double, moves to third on a ground out to second, and comes home on a ground out to second by Juan Centeno, his 13th RBI of the year. That made it 4-2. The Indians would add a run in the top half of the ninth off of Michael Tonkin. Tyler Naquin a 1-out single. Roberto Perez follows with a single, and then Michael Martinez with an RBI single. And that was your final. Cody Allen came in the ninth and got the final 3 outs, this time with no D20 chicanery. The Twins' record is now 56-87 on the year. And now we go to the next games on the channel. The Twins have a 4-game set against the Tigers. The final game of that for that would be played on the channel, Hector Santiago against Mike Pelfrey. And then a 2-game set, which actually works out really well that they play a 4-game set against the Tigers. We're going to do Jose Barrios against Bartolo Colon. And this will be at, I guess that would be Citi Field in 2016. So 4 games against the Tigers, 1 game played on the channel, and then 1 out of 2 against the Mets. And then that's another, this Twins Week in Baseball. There are not many, actually that's a 3-game set against the Mets, sorry. I don't want to, that's about the best game. So 4 games against the Tigers, 3 games against the Twins. And then after those 2 series, there's only 11 games left. So I think I only have 1, 2, 3. I only have 6 more series left after this. So we'll probably end up working it out. We'll see about playing the final 3 games on the channel. I kind of thought about doing that, but we'll see. All right, everybody, that's it for Twins Week in Baseball on the Tribe Fan 879 YouTube channel. Please, if you like what you see, hit the like button. And if you're watching for the first time, I know this isn't games, but it's a recap show that I've done all throughout my replay. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified of any new videos. And whatever games you are playing, may your games be lively and your games be good. Have a good day, everybody.